Hey, what's going on? This is RVL Craig, Chatbot Funnels, and what we're going to do now is get started with our 30 lessons learned over the past 2 years of building chatbot funnels and conversational marketing campaigns. Okay, and so we're going to go through this list. There's a bunch of lessons, there's a bunch of information. I encourage you to grab a pen, grab some paper, think about your thoughts as we work through these lessons and these questions. Hopefully, we're going to cover the majority of things that you may be thinking about, the things you may be considering. And then once, if you have other questions that you want to send to us, you've got 30 days to contact us and send us your questions, send us your concerns, and we will share with you whatever we can to help you get over whatever kind of roadblock or wherever you're stuck in your decision-making process, okay? So the first thing I want you to think about, number one, is to think about when you imagine using a chatbot, what I want you to think about is, are you wanting to humanize your technology, your website, your funnels, or are you trying to automate your your conversations? And this is a really big key thing to realize. I always say whenever I'm doing marketing is that you got to know what's working before you figure out what do you want to automate or what do you want to improve upon. And so my thought process is you're probably already involved in some kind of human interaction, whether it's sales interaction or whether it's customer support interaction. And if you're busy, if your team is busy, if you are having expenses that are too high, that are manual, that are repetitive, the one option is that you can use a chatbot to reduce the cost of human labor and human energy and make your business more efficient by training your team and creating systems that direct your audience to start interacting with a chatbot to save your time and energy. That is the one option. But the other completely different option, of course you can do both, but I'm saying as you're thinking and you're planning, a lot of times the low-hanging fruit is going to be one or the other. The other option is that you already have some marketing going on. You've got some funnels, you've got some landing pages, you've got some Facebook traffic, and what you want to figure out is there a way to humanize? Can you add a little personality to what you're doing? What that means is instead of somebody going to your website, clicking on a link, downloading a report, opening their email to get the content, could you do the whole thing within a chatbot where you can say, hey, what's going on? Or you can be a little friendly, you can be a little, a little silly, a little sassy, and catch people's attention using humor, or sending them into Messenger where it's a lot more engaging, it's a lot more fun. That is a different approach with a different goal. When you're delivering a lead magnet or a webinar, you can use Messenger to make that experience completely different. Okay, think about which one of those two is the low-hanging fruit. Okay, we've got clients where we're connecting their Facebook page and they have comments on Facebook page. And so what we're doing, we're adding a human element to that, an engagement element. It's not just engagement or a click or a view, it's humanizing it so that it's conversational. So that's how we are taking existing marketing and adding the humanization to it. So that's the first thing I want you to think about. Which one of those is your initial strategy? Number two, next I want to think about, and the summer to is, again, this is all around strategy. Do you want to have a live person take over the conversation? That's going to be important because a lot of times people think the chatbot is going to do everything, which it is possible that the chatbot can do 100% of whatever you want it to do. You don't have to have a live chat. But if you want a salesperson or a customer support person, or you as the marketing manager or as the owner, if you want to jump into the conversation and take over what the chatbot is doing, you need to think about that in advance so that in your planning, in your imagining what the chatbot is going to do, be prepared to think about that. Because that will make a difference between how you build out your campaign, how you build the bot. Because sometimes the bot responds to every single thing that happens. And so having a live person interact in the conversation is going to be confusing to the bot because the bot doesn't know that there's information coming from you or your team that's going towards the visitor, that's going towards the audience. And so the visitor will be typing to you or typing to the bot, and the bot will be talking to them, and you'll be talking to them, or a customer support person will be talking to them, and that's going to be confusing. So you want to get that understood in advance so that your campaign is prepared for that. Next, number 3, think about your traffic source. A lot of times people come to me and they say, how can the bot drive traffic to my product? And the reality is, a chat bot starting off cannot drive traffic to anything. It's completely irrelevant because chatbots don't drive traffic. You know, Google drives traffic, Facebook drives traffic. You have to buy traffic. That you have to send people into your bot first. Traffic is outside, okay? And then you send them into the bot, and then once they're in the bot can send them elsewhere. Or in reality, the bot will nurture people and conversate with people and get to know people and segment people and find out if they're qualified or not before they send them to an offer. So really think about your traffic source. How are you getting traffic? How are you going to get awareness into your bot? Because a lot of the companies are not thinking about that. And I want to make sure that you think about how you're getting traffic first, okay? Because the bot does not get traffic. It receives existing traffic, okay? And as a best case, you want to have a couple thousand people. If you're thinking of your bot on your website, you want to have a couple thousand people already visiting your website every month in order to really justify investing in a bot that can, nurture or engage with that traffic on its own. Okay, next point. Number 4 is sales versus marketing. Think about that. Of course, you can do both, but begin to think about, is this chat bot, is the purpose of it to help me with sales and marketing, preferably, which is normally going to be with strangers, cold traffic, people that don't yet know you, people that are not yet in your funnel? Is it sales and marketing specific or focused? Okay, and in that case, a lot of times, just like other ways of inbound marketing or direct response marketing, they're coming into your world, and you want to give them value, versus a customer support perspective of a bot is different, not only in the fact that they're already aware of your company, so the experience can be a lot different, because you're not trying to sell them anything. You're just trying to make your support team more efficient. And also, a lot of times when you have a customer support bot, you're beginning to train your customers how to interact with you. So the bot is kind of in that customer support bot is different. And the other thing is that in sales and marketing, when you think about it, if you think about funnels, you are leading people down a path to an intended destination where they're getting more and more value about your company and eventually become a lead or a customer. Okay, but when it comes to customer support, that's when you get into a lot of the decision trees, or that's when you want to think about, are people typing, and are they going to just, does your bot need to interpret the language of their issue? It's just a completely different mindset. So think about that. Sales and marketing or customer support. And of course, you can do both, but think about that. Sales and marketing, that was number 4, I think. Number 5, think about whether or not you want to use Facebook Messenger or not. Of course, you do not have to use Facebook Messenger, but if you have not researched it, if you haven't seen some of my other videos or my keynotes or speaking on it, there are some very specific advantages of using Messenger. And I just want you to think about that. If you're in B2B, you may assume your audience is on LinkedIn. You may assume your audience is just coming from Google traffic. You mainly only want Google ads, which is fine. But don't discount Facebook Messenger, specifically because of the advantages that it brings, such as Facebook Messenger already knows the name, the last name, the gender, the time zone, where they're located. There's a lot of data. Not everything, but Facebook does give your business access to certain data that is on a person's Facebook profile. And so the bot engagement in Messenger has many, many advantages versus using a non-Facebook Messenger bot. So just look into that. And of course, the best case will be use both. I use both. I use Messenger. I run ads in Messenger, but I also use other chatbot systems that are not connected to Messenger that are just, there's many options. So just look into that. Next one is when people talk to your bot, when people talk to you and they interact with it, you want to think about what is the personality of the bot? Is it is it just a robot? Does it have a personality? Is it like a mascot or an avatar based upon your company? You're going to want to think about that. We never want to, trick people, but sometimes your bot could be you as a business owner, or it could be one of your support people. It could be a photo of you or a photo of somebody in your company, but you also always let them know that it's not a real person. But just think about that kind of the identity of your bot. Do you want to give it, you don't have to. Do you want to give it an identity? Is there an avatar? Do you want to make an illustration? Again, you don't have to, but these kind of things do make the experience more fun, more engaging, and more creative. Okay? Number 7, and I kind of mentioned this earlier with the sales versus marketing, but realize that when you do chatbots, the way your audience interacts with the bot, there are a variety of ways of doing it. Number 1, you can have just all buttons, and all people do is click on buttons. That makes it fast, that makes it simple, and that's that. But number 2, realize that depending on who the audience is, they may want to type, or you may want to allow them to type, free form what they write. That's when you get into the AI, or the natural language processing. NLP, natural language processing, is the kind of a subset of artificial intelligence, which pretty much says most of the chatbot programs are able to interpret what people type. Okay, when they type to you, when they type, you can interpret what they mean and what they want. And there's a lot of other plugins and other kind of ways you can add more intelligence to the way the chatbot responds. But you want to think about the experience that people will have. Are you going to have buttons where they click, 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 get what they want and go? Or are you going to have people type, have it free form? Okay, just some things to think about. Number 8 is just the reality. All these right now, we're kind of in a strategy area of where my notes are here. And then just to realize that there are multiple platforms where the chatbot can live. And so again, I didn't define a chatbot earlier, but just for our purposes, if you want to define what is a chatbot, to me, there's 2 words. There's chat and there's bot. And all you need to think about this is bot, meaning with the end. Bot is the simple idea that it's technology. Robot, bot, whatever. Just think technology is the bot, and chat is conversations. It's really not just conversations. It's a human element. It's a friendly element. That's why I say humanizing your technology. So when you think of a chatbot, all it is whatever kind of software or technology you have, it chats with people, or it talks to people in a friendly, human-like way. Friendly and human-ish connected with technology makes a chat bot. Okay? And so, again, so your chatbot can live on Messenger. It can live in Facebook. It can live on SMS. You can do text messaging. It can be the place where people are chatting. It can live in email. It can live in Slack. It can live in Skype. Soon, it can live in WhatsApp. So there's tons of places your chatbot can live. So when you're thinking about this, when you're planning, if you're talking to a developer or a company, you want to think about, yes, you may have your initial use case for one area, but you might, in the next 3 months to 6 months, you might want your chatbot to live in multiple places. And if that's the case, you want to look for software that does more than just Messenger, more than just your website, okay? And certain platforms have that feature. Certain platforms do more than just 1 or 2 or 3 different places. So if that is something that you're thinking about doing, that's something that you really want to consider and plan for. Next, so we get into that. Now we're getting into things like, do you need a developer? A lot of times when you think about chatbots, especially if you're thinking about an AI chatbot, an artificial intelligence, that'll automatically make some people think that you need to be a developer in order to create this. But the reality is you do not need a developer. For most of the basic things, think of it like using HubSpot or Infusionsoft. Yes, those are advanced, or Pardot, those are more advanced marketing automation tools, but technically you don't need to be a developer to do the basics of using those systems. So whenever I'm training people or doing a keynote or workshop, I want people to understand that you don't have to have a developer to build your chatbot. Think of it like email marketing or marketing automation, okay? One second. Okay, traffic, how skills needed. Yeah, so anything else here? So the last thing in this strategic area, which I probably will mention again, is that chatbots and the way you communicate or where you distribute content is quite a bit different than email. So even if you have an email strategist, an email copywriter on your team, you're going to want to look into having copy specifically for chatbots. You want to find a person who's trained in how to write chatbot copy, because just because a person's a copywriter, that doesn't mean it's going to translate within a chatbot context. So just as you're thinking strategically, you don't need a developer, though depending on your scope, you might, depending on what you want to do with it, and I'll get into more technical stuff in the next section, you may need one eventually, but starting off you don't. Same way with the actual content. Again, a person who can manage basic marketing automation can manage a chatbot and do the basics. But if you really want to take it seriously, you want somebody who's trained in chatbot copy. Okay? Just want to throw that out there for you from a strategic place in your planning. Okay? Yeah, let's go ahead and go on now to some technology related topics when it comes to chatbots. And so what I want to do is I want to just riff off some software, some tech stuff, just things you want to think about as you're planning. I will cover some of the major platforms that people use for chatbots. So just that you think about. So the first thing I want to talk about is Drift. DRIFT is a platform for building chatbots. And I really, really like Drift. We are almost going to be a partner, an agency partner of Drift really soon, because their product is very unique. It is interesting. Again, this is a consulting session, so I'm just going to give you high value information, things that I've learned. And what I learned is when people come to my website or any site, client sites, there's something about the Drift bot that is built in a way, their interface, where people or strangers are very willing to click on it and dialogue and have a conversation with the Drift system versus using Messenger. Now, I've had Messenger on my site that sits, on the bottom right-hand side of the page, and I've had Drift on sites that sit on the bottom right-hand side of the page. I've had other bot systems, but Drift gets more leads. I'll put it that way. There's something about the way they built it, the way the interface looks, the way the face looks, or something about Messenger that just people, they know it's Messenger, maybe they're concerned, but I like Drift because, number one, on a website, it gets more leads in an organic way than using Messenger. Number one, that's the first point on this technology part, specifically about Drift. The number two thing about Drift is going to be that Drift actually has 4 different components within its infrastructure that make it, actually there's more than 4, but I'm going to highlight 4 different features in the one system that make it very valuable. But there's one major thing about Drift that makes it not great. Okay, and so let's start with the not great thing. The one thing that makes Drift not the complete resource is that it does not integrate with Messenger. And so I mentioned earlier, Facebook Messenger allows you to grab data from the person. Messenger, you can grab and access people's information without them giving you their name. You can get it. You can their gender. You can access, I'll say, their email and phone number that's on their Facebook profile. All this rich data you can get in Messenger that you can't get on a basic website. And you can nurture people in Messenger. So Facebook is great. So Drift does not do that. But here are the 4 things that Drift does do. Number 1, like I said, besides the fact that it gets more organic leads, it gets more responses. But number 1, you can do bots. You can build automations and chat bots in Drift. Number 2, you can also integrate your bots with live people. So I mentioned earlier about thinking about, do you need a live person to take over the conversation? Drift has it, so you can run bots, and in its own system, you can do live chat. So you have 3 or 4 or 5 different sales agents who are on schedule for different times, and they can see on their phone, and they can interrupt conversations via the app. So you got bots, plus Drift has built in with it live chat, plus Drift has built into it email marketing. So you think about a MailChimp, an ActiveCampaign, and Infusionsoft. Drift has email marketing features built into the system. So now you've got bots, you've got live people interacting with customers, plus you've got email marketing. Technically, plus you've got, it has like a meeting system. Think about Calendly or Acuity Scheduling or Schedule Once, all those scheduling systems. Drift has all those things built into the one platform. So you got a bot, plus you got live chat, plus you got email marketing, plus you got a meeting booking system like Calendly for all those live agents. Those are your sales agents that can interact with people live, that can interact on email. There's also a calendar system. Actually, there's 5. Let's see the 5th one. And 5, with Drift, you can do sales emails or cold emails. And whether or not you understand this or not, cold email versus email marketing are completely different. Sales emails or business development emails work through like Google Apps, your Google Apps email system hosted on your company's domain through Google. That doesn't have a subscription system or unsubscribe. That's a sales email. Email marketing things like MailChimp and Infusionsoft work through a different protocol, different server. And so Drift as a system has both of those working, or they're completely separate, but they're all built into the same platform. So that's why I love Drift. For those 5, and I use them all: live chat, bots, meetings, email marketing, and sales or prospecting emails. All that. There's a lot on Drift, but I'm a big fan of it. But like I said, it doesn't do Messenger. And so I always use at least 2 different systems in my world. So moving on from Drift. Now, if you're thinking about the basic Messenger system, what do you do? Oh, one thing on Drift, just from a price point, the live chat is free. Live chat plus the email marketing and the sales emails and the calendar stuff is $50 a month, and I think you can get 2 users out of that. So, but it's $50 a month for 2 people, and then when you add bots, it is $100 per user, but you got to have 5 users, so it's $500, $500 a month. But tell me, it's a ridiculously slick and advanced system. So you got free, you got $50, and you got $500 with the bots. Yeah, I'll stop there. Now, when you get into Messenger, using Facebook Messenger bots, which we'll get into some of those because that's kind of more popular for many people. The number one tool I use now is ManyChat, ManyChat. And it's funny, I started off with Chatfuel, which I'll talk about Chatfuel in a minute, but starting off with ManyChat, I want to say why I like ManyChat. Um, and there's pretty much two core big reasons why I switched from ChatFuel after a year and a half, and I switched to ManyChat. Number one, ManyChat has a visual builder, which is beautiful. When you think about the decision tree of somebody comes in here and then they click that, and then there's yes or no, and they click that, and there's, little, what do you call it, a spider web or whatever decision tree type of thing, all the branches. ManyChat has that all in a visual format, which makes it very fast and very easy for anybody to just quickly build those trees out. And you can kind of see visually, logically, what you did already, where people came from. That's number one. Number two is the fact that ManyChat has many, many tools that help you get subscribers, much more than anything else. Tons of, think of like pop-ups like SumoMe or Opt-in Monster, or all those kind of different ways to get lead magnets, different ways to get leads, different ways to get people into webinars or whatever. It has a lot of resources that make marketers happy for getting leads and integrating it and streamlining it with existing offers, existing things on your website already. So those are the two big reasons why I like ManyChat. And I do have some code. There's nothing on there straightforward, but if you ever wanted to do to integrate somebody typing out a form, to integrate that with a chatbot so that they fill out a form and they automatically get opted into your messenger at the same time, I've got some code for that. So just hit me up if you want to get a copy of that code. Just hit me up and let me know that you want to get that. Okay, so that's ManyChat, number one. And most of them, and again, it starts off at free, and then it's $10 a month, and it goes up from there. Number two, the next one on the technology one is going to be ChatFuel. And ChatFuel is what I used to use more than anything else. And ChatFuel is still a good piece of software. It probably can do more than ManyChat. And ChatFuel, especially from a developer standpoint, I think it's built, it just has tons more features. And if you're looking for advanced features, web views, like pulling up a whole website within Messenger, ChatFuel is great for that. It's got a huge community. It used to be, as far as I know, the #1 platform for running Messenger marketing and chatbots in Facebook. And I think they've been around longer, but ManyChat is just, again, for the ease of use, it's just better. But ChatFuel is great for developers. It's great for more advanced features. If you want to integrate with databases and you can take pictures of people and do all kind of fancy code, and your bot can interact with people's photos and customize photos and interact with Cloudinary and all kind of other third-party applications. ChatFuel has that ability to do that. So that's great. I feel like there's something else about ChatFuel that's really good. I just can't think of it right now. But I think the price is, it's the same price, or it might be $15. After you pass the free stage, it might be $15. Okay? All right, moving on. This should be at least number 15 point. Next one, I'm going to actually talk about two different because ManyChat and ChatFuel are the most popular ones, most popular systems within Messenger. But two other ones I'll mention for you to consider because I'll tell you why you want to consider these. Two of them. One is chatbot.com, which is a beautiful domain. And then the other one is FlowXO, FLOWXO.com. So these are two other services that you may want to look into. Sorry, my watch is buzzing me. FlowXO and chatbot.com. I'll just make it simple. The reason why you may want to consider these, because ManyChat and ChatFuel only work in Messenger. That's that. I mentioned Drift works on websites only and email, but not Messenger. Okay? So now when we go into another category of bot systems, I'll mention FlowXO and Chatbot.com, and those are unique because they both work on Messenger, and you can take the same code, the same bot, the same interaction decision tree sequence, and copy that and deploy that, you could say, on your website, completely separate from, not related to Messenger. So your website can have a little pop-up bot like Drift or anything else on your website that's just on the website, that's not related to Messenger. Okay? The same, but you can also copy and paste that code or that bot and deploy it in Slack, Think, and Skype, and in SMS. You can do text messaging and SMS bots. So those are, and they can do other places. So they're built in that kind of way where they can be used on multiple places. And I have used both of them, and I highly recommend, if that's the use case where you want to use them, it's great. I know Chatbot.com has a really smooth integration with live chat. I think it's livechat.com. So they don't do live chat themselves, but they integrate with one of the major live chat tools. So if you want your live agents to take over the conversation, you can do that with Chatbot.com and live chat. FlowXO doesn't, I haven't seen, they may, a lot of these tools have ways you can hack the integration, but a purely built-in one, I don't know if FlowXO has it, but they do have their own live chat all built in within their own tool. Okay, so those are two other options that you may want to think about. Next thing we want to go into in this context is Zapier and Integromat. This is all in the context of the technology thoughts and conversations and decisions you want to make as you're planning out your chatbot. So Zapier and Integromat are, which I hope you know, which is just a way you can connect different apps, different tools to one another. And they do work with almost any tool. So whether it's Drift, ManyChat, Chatfuel, Chatbot.com, FlowXO, almost anything on the internet has a way you can use Integromat. So Integromat is less popular than Zapier, but they both do the same thing. And I'll have make sure I write Integromat on this video. So the main thing is that realize that your chatbot, no matter what tool you use, can interact with any CRM, any database, anything that has a webhook, or anything that has a Zapier integration. You can have those talk to one another. I know of people that they have webinars on the website, and the bot helps to get webinar subscribers, and when somebody signs up, the bot gets notified, it gets updated. So having your bot and your email and your webinar tool and your Stripe and your payment system talk to one another, all that happens with Zapier or Integromat. So my only other point about this, again, from my experience, is that I've used Zapier for years. I think Integromat is cheaper, and I think it's faster. Zapier, you're paying for the amount of connections in Zapier, and you're also paying for the speed, because by default, you're at like 15 minutes for updates, and then you're at like 5, but Integromat is proven to be a faster, it works faster. So 9 times out of 10, I'm going to use Integromat over Zapier. So you can take that, save some money. Hope you learned from that. Next, we're going into, this is, I don't know, 17, 18, whatever, Dialogflow. Dialogflow is Google's natural language processing system, okay? And what Dialogflow does, it does natural language processing. So it's built to, and I think you can use it as a standalone tool, which I don't do. Like I'm sweating, looking a little hot here. It's all good. But Dialogflow, what I've done is I've added it to Chatfuel, and I've added Dialogflow with ManyChat. And what I'm able to do with that integration, when people are typing to the bot, so if I'm not using buttons and I'm not forcing people to type a button to go where they want to go, if I allow them to type and interact with the bot via their natural language, Dialogflow is a more advanced system that helps you interpret what they're typing and what it is that they want to know or what it is that they want to do. Okay? And so what that works is there's, it's like there's intents and then there's context. So it gets kind of complicated. Again, if you want to geek out on this, you don't have to be a developer to learn Dialogflow, but you got to have a nerdy side to yourself where you want to geek out and figure it out. It's not too complicated, but it is not the most basic stuff. But it does improve the ability 10 times that your bot is able to interpret what people are typing using Dialogflow. Okay? One other point about Dialogflow, if you get into this, is that I just realized something else I want to add to this list. One second. With Dialogflow, if you can figure it out, the same way I said chatbot.com and FlowXO can be added to SMS, Slack, Skype, and other tools and systems, in the same way, if you can figure out Dialogflow, you will have the skills to create bots that work in a voice application. Okay, and that's huge. So I mentioned chatbots are not just, because chatbots aren't just about typing between humans and bots. Chatbots also are used in voice, because Siri is a chatbot. And Google Home, or Google, when you're talking to Google, or Alexa technically is a chatbot. Remember I said it's just the bot or technology, and chat, which is the human part, the conversational, the friendly part. You bring human conversations with technology, that's a chatbot. So by definition, Siri and Alexa are chatbots, and Google Home is a chatbot. All that to say, if you learn Dialogflow, what you build can be deployed in Alexa or Google Home. Again, that gets kind of technical, way beyond the scope, but it gets you thinking, because if you're planning your campaign and you're thinking 5 years down the line, 6 months to 2-3 years down the line, you might be thinking about how people might interact with your company via voice. If you follow Gary Vee and he's talking about voice, who knows what's going to happen? If somebody can pull up your phone and say, "Hey Siri, pull up this website," and if there is a feature in your website that allows people to interact with a website via voice, Dialogflow is kind of an application, a foundational language that would help you to be prepared to add those kind of features in the future. Okay, so that's a huge tip if you're thinking a couple years down the line. Mashing Dialogflow will help you to build bots that interact with people via voice. Okay, moving on. Next is Janus.ai, and especially for those of you who are not super technical, if you're kind of interested in Dialogflow, but you're kind of hesitant, if you are using a messenger bot, like one of the ones I mentioned, and if you want to use Dialogflow to interpret what people type, Janus.ai is a kind of like how Zapier connects one app to another. Janus is an app that connects your messenger bot to Dialogflow. But I need a third hand here. But it also works through Slack. So that's a third. We got 3 different things. You got your website, we got Dialogflow, which I mentioned its benefits, and then we've got Slack. And Janus.ai is the bridge that connects all of these. All that to say, if you sign up with Janus.ai, you can, number 1, program Dialogflow in an easier, non-techie way. Number 2, Janus also has the ability to bring Janus with Slack, has the ability to bring live chat functionality with your messenger bot. Meaning, if you're using ChatFuel or FlowXO or Chatbot or ManyChat, and you add Dialogflow, if the bot is doing all the interaction, what Janice does via Slack, and you want to say you have Slack on your phone, your Slack bot will say, hey, somebody is chatting with your bot on Messenger, but the bot does not have an answer for it. Do you want to jump in here and take over the conversation? So number one, all that. So therefore, all you're going to have, your sales team, your support team, all you're going to have on your phone is Slack. And Slack is going to be your interface to number one, chat with people on Messenger. And number two, let's say after you're finished chatting, after you're finished conversating, you go back into Slack within Janice and you can see where the bot lost or where the bot didn't know how to answer the person's question. And what you can do is you can train your Dialogflow, which is controlling your bot. You can train your bot or train your Dialogflow right there in Slack. The next time somebody types this or that, I want you to bring up this conversation, bring up this sequence, bring up this set of buttons. You can program and make your bot more intelligent, all within Slack. So Janice.ai is a game changer. Again, you may have a company of a sales team of 30, 40, 50 people, and you're already using Slack. And now you got this Messenger bot that's on your website or chat bot that's in Messenger or on your website. And you're hoping that the chat bot can do all this stuff for you. And you don't want to spend $500 a month for Drift, which has that live chat feature. And you really want your bot to get smarter over time. So you get Janice and Slack, and therefore you still and everything happens in Slack. You don't have to download Facebook Pages Manager to interact. You don't have to try many different apps. You just stay in Slack and you can interact live with people with it, and you can train the bot too. Okay, so all that is my big plug for Janice.ai. That is a great feature if you need that. Next, these are just a few minor things. One is going to be shopping cart abandonment. That is, there's some plugins within, like say you got WooCommerce. If you got an e-commerce site, you're doing WooCommerce, there are plugins that have for shopping cart abandonment. Just Google that and you will find you can plug your Messenger, if you're using Messenger, that plugs into your shopping cart when somebody is about to buy something. They add it to cart. They can also add it to Messenger. And if they leave or abandon, you can automate bringing them back into the buying decision to the checkout process with a plugin. So I will probably put a link in here on that so you can, just for your information, where you can find that resource. If you want to add shopping cart abandonment, that's a great feature that chatbots can do for you. Again, in this technical situation. Now, another thing on this, in finishing up our technical category, is going to be, I think it's called Human Tech. I don't know the name of it, but there are scan codes. If you see my presentation, there are these scan codes that you can do. I think it's, right, you got it. You got it. So these scan codes that, for some reason, Facebook doesn't seem to have the scan code anymore within the app of Messenger for businesses, which I don't know why. So ManyChat has an ability to create a scan code automatically within their platform, but you have to have the Pro account, which is $10 a month. Again, you're going to use a Pro account anyway on any of these tools to really get the main features out of it. But if you're using ChatFuel or these other tools, FlowXO, I don't think there's a scan code feature in those systems, but there is a third-party app. I think it's called like Human Tech. I'll put a link right here of that website. But there's a way you can kind of create your own scan code that within Facebook Messenger, people can scan this picture and they kind of like a QR code, and they automatically go to your Get Started page within your chatbot. So I'll put that technology on here if you want to create your own You can create multiple ones that go into different places in your bot. Okay, sorry, my battery's down 20%, but we're coming near the end. We're like 45 minutes into this. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you're getting some value out of this. This is gold information I'm giving you. Other than that, let's see, anything else on the tech side? I'll mention one other application that I like. It's called Bot Society. I think it's like .io. I'll put a link there on this video. Bot Society is a mock-up tool that I like. For whatever reason, the first year, it seemed like every mock-up design tool for chatbots was like, I don't know, $50, which is not a lot of money, but it isn't necessary to charge $50 just to kind of draw some dialogue. So if you ever want to sketch out like a wireframe of your chatbot decision tree and you don't yet have the software you want and you want to kind of imagine it, Bot Society, I think it's .io, is a great tool to build your decision tree for your chatbot and kind of just sketch it out. So again, anybody can do it. You don't have to be the tech person. If you got an information architect, imagine like you're building a new website and you're thinking about the information architecture, your sitemap, your SEO, your keywords, you're kind of thinking about that. That same person in your company could possibly build out some of the decision tree and the functionalities of your bot based upon that information using that tool, Bot Society, without signing up for any chatbot tool. Okay? One more section, and this is the content and copy section. And this doesn't have to take long. So, number one, when it comes to actually writing and creating your content, my first point here is that, especially if you're using Messenger, you got to think of how people use messaging apps among peers, because Messenger is one thing unique. I'll say this before I go there. If you're on a website and you have a chat bot and you have a Messenger bot, I think there's a difference. In Messenger, I think you can take chances. You can be a little more fun, and you should be more fun. You can be more engaging. You can add more GIFs and more humor in Messenger. I'll just put it that way. Versus sometimes if you're just on a regular website, you see a Drift bot show up or an Intercom or some other live chat, something. It's okay. And I think those are going to be a lot of times more, especially if it's live, it's a live person, it's not silly. But if you're in Messenger, I want to let you know that you can have fun and you'll get more engagement if you have fun. Just think social. It's social media. You want to be social with it. You want to think how peers interact with one another. That's my first point. Number two, think speed. When people are in a messaging app, they're not having long conversations. Don't think about putting long videos. Don't think about how you do a YouTube strategy or a webinar or a white paper and all the content that you would put in a white paper or a blog article. That's not going to work in Messenger. You got to think speed. Give people something fast and quick. Okay? Likewise, use GIFs, use emojis, especially in Messenger. You can do a little bit of that possibly on a standalone web bot, but in Messenger, I want you to think GIFs, think humor, think engagement, but make sure it's fast. Another point on this, though I want you to think images and GIFs, I want you to also be concerned or be considered that you want to reduce the file size of the image or video as small as possible so that it loads quickly. Because I find if you have an image or a GIF that's normal on a normal website, in Messenger, if it takes 5 seconds to load, you'll lose people. Versus on a website, things load faster and people's eyes can look different places while that image or GIF is still loading. So be sure, this is like point 3, to reduce the file size of any image or GIF or video in there. Let's see, next. I mentioned before, I would say you want to nurture over hours versus nurture over days in Messenger or any chatbot. Meaning, if somebody is interacting with your bot and they seem like they're a little interested, until they reach the destination. If they don't reach the destination that you want for them, you want to nurture them, to me, in minutes and in hours. Versus on email, if somebody starts an email conversation or they opt into something on email, you're normally thinking nurturing either daily, or you're thinking about a nurture spread out every 2-3 days. That's how the mind works on email. In Messenger, if they start typing and they want something, your system needs to be programmed with the mindset that if we don't hit one of our goals, if I haven't qualified or segmented them or got their name or their email and their phone number, I want to follow up maybe in 20 minutes and say, hey, what's going on? Did you need information? And if they don't respond in another hour, hey, just checking back. I would nurture in hours versus an email is days. Okay, that's going to help you a lot with getting conversions, getting people once they're kind of hot, kind of warm, over the edge, to get that lead information into your system. Another thing with that, I do think you always want to grab that information fast. I'll say this also. You want to grab the email or phone number early in the sequence. Even though in Messenger you can nurture them without an email, without a phone number, you can just keep popping up in Messenger. You can, until they opt out. But I will suggest that you try to get their name and email, or their phone number or email, some type of contact information, push that into your CRM, get it early in the sequence. Though you can still stay in the bot, but try to capture data fast. Next, I wanted to make a comment about it's kind of a technical aspect. It's minor, but I'll probably show a video right here. When you're giving people the opportunity to interact with you, there's two types of buttons. One is the quick reply button, and the other one is more of a, card button, or I don't know what the other button's called. But the quick replies are those oval buttons that are side by side, and then the other button is like within the message. There's like a maximum of 3 buttons right in the block. Just to kind of a little tip, just realize that the quick reply buttons disappear. And this is just Messenger. The quick reply buttons, they all disappear if anybody clicks one. Okay? But the other buttons that are in the card or the block, those buttons never disappear. So in your mindset as you're planning, somebody might leave your chat dialog box, and then when they come back, if you scroll through the conversation, all those quick replies are going to be gone, but the other buttons are going to be still there. So more of the story is that I've learned to 80% of the time, I'm using those card buttons more than I'm using quick replies. So I want people to, if they click the wrong thing, or if they start typing and it breaks the whole conversation flow, they can scroll back up and click one of those buttons to restart or finish up where they were at previously. That's kind of technical, but if it makes sense to you, maybe it'll help you save some time by using less quick replies. The beauty of quick replies is that you can do 6 or 7 or 8 optional buttons all at one time, versus the other buttons, the card buttons, you can only do a max of 3. Okay, so that's that. Couple technical things on Facebook. Number 1, there's a 24-hour rule, which means when somebody enters your Messenger bot, your bot's ability to automatically pitch, promote, advertise, try to sell, try to get an action, buy my product, click here. If you're being a little aggressive, within 24 hours of when they first, really almost any interact, let's say the first, within the first time they interact with you, you can kind of do whatever you want to do within 24 hours. But if 24 hours when it ends, then you can't pitch and broadcast offers and sales and promotions after 24 hours. People have to initiate some kind of engagement with you first before you say buy my product. And what normally happens is that after 24 hours, the way most bot builders do, you can send information or tips or content. And normally you want to send tips or content to provoke or invite people to interact with you after you give them some content. So after you give content, tips or information, if they interact with you, then you can pitch them with a product or a sale. Okay, hope that makes sense. This is kind of a fuzzy Facebook rule. Just hit me up after this if you got questions. Again, I not really theoretical. If you're running some campaigns or you're not sure what you should or shouldn't do, just hit me up. Number two, on this related topic, again, Messenger and Facebook is still, with bots, it's still kind of the wild, wild west. And Facebook is, talking about different rules and different things that are coming. And so one of the rules that they're trying to manage, same way you think about email marketing rules of unsubscribe and opt out and spam policy, can spam and all that stuff, because there's, a lot of marketers are doing a lot in Messenger, they're trying to categorize different bots and the different things that the bot is trying to do for the particular company. And the main thing I want to tell you is that they had a rule they were going to start at the end of 2018, but then they changed the date. But I just want you to be realized that in Facebook Messenger, Facebook wants to know that if your company is planning to drip content on a daily basis in Messenger, you want to tell Facebook, this is what we're going to be using Messenger for. Or if you're doing like some kind of tracking, any type of automated stuff, just the different ways you're going to be pushing out content, whether you're a news site or a blog or whatever way you want to use it, Facebook is talking about different rules and regulations for how you are going to push out content. That's kind of just a heads up. If you got questions about that, just hit me up on that. I mentioned before that it's not email. And even though when I mentioned your messages should be short, think speed, don't think long form content. When you've got buttons and clicks, I'm going to say I'm going to encourage you to keep your buttons and clicks no more than 2 or 3 for the average. For the average customer, if it's customer support, then yeah, people are just going on their own journey for what they want. But if you have some kind of marketing funnel, some content, some leads, some qualifying information, I would encourage you to start off with the least amount of buttons and decisions as possible. I'm saying 2, 3, 4 max. Just don't imagine this big, detailed, crazy sequence unless people, if they're going into your bot for something specific, give it to them within 2 or 3 clicks. If they're just exploring, if it's something else, then you're kind of okay. But I'm just saying, comes to your content, yeah, keep it 2 or 3 buttons, clicks max to get what you're trying to give them. A couple other minor tips. If your messenger system or your chat bot is deployed on your website, definitely when it comes to content, make sure your bot understands what page people are on, okay? And I encourage you to make sure the bot, make sure it acts differently depending on what page people are on. That's just a little small tip, but it helps so much with engagement. It's one thing to go to a home page and get a generic, how can I help you? But really think about when people are on your pricing page or solutions page or certain industry pages, test out different copy and content based upon the page they're on. And that's going to give you a much higher conversion rate of your bot, okay? A couple other things. One thing with Chatfuel, I'll just throw this out here. This is on my tech section. When people opt out or they unsubscribe within Chatfuel, you really have to manually program Chatfuel to not send them content. And in reality, even though you program it, I'd say the best practice, I'm just going to say, is that when somebody unsubscribes from your bot, You want to once a day or once a week manually look through everybody who has interacted with your bot, who is unsubscribed. They may have the tag, but there's nothing built into the system that keeps them from receiving more content. So just to stay on the safe side, I've learned that not only do you program the unsubscribe, but you should manually find all those people with the tag unsubscribe and manually delete them from your Chatfuel system, just to be safe. Because there's no automatic way. In ManyChat, once they unsubscribe or say stop, it's kind of built in. So ManyChat knows within its own system that people are opted out, and you don't have to worry about manually deleting them. No, we are at 60 minutes. It's 30. We've had at least 30 different things I've learned over the past year, 2 years of conversational marketing and chatbot funnels. Again, this content was hopefully help you to think about a lot of things. You'll have a worksheet where you can kind of look over all these lessons, figure it out yourself, and be better prepared for thinking about the campaigns that you want to run or the tools that you want to purchase or buy. I mean, there's a lot more we could get into. That's why you've got 30 days to follow up with me or my team to get some questions answered. All those questions are going to be either digital, maybe on a Zoom call, or just by email or messenger. But you should have information for how to interact with us. I hope you enjoyed this. I appreciate you for your time, and I am signing off. Create a great day. Bye.